Feel for releasing to gravity here. Just letting go of effort for a moment, letting your jaw relax, noticing the places that you're making contact with the floor. You can start to breathe more rhythmically, noticing as your breath goes in, maybe counting, and then taking a long breath out. You could breathe out through pursed lips or through your nose. And then as you're ready to, let's take the feet and knees parallel. As you inhale, reaching arms overhead, and exhale to bring your right knee in. And then inhale, place the foot down, arms overhead, and exhale, left knee in. And we'll go side to side here. Just start to notice how your low back feels. You know, a couple of you mentioned that your low back was feeling sore or tight. So as you go side to side, this feeling, what it's like. Is it the same on both sides? Is it different? Can you feel it at all? And now next time you bring a knee in, let's hold it. Doesn't matter which side. Can straighten out the other leg on the floor and then begin to make circles with the knee. You might just use the same hand side as knee. Circle a couple times in one direction and then go the opposite way. And then bring it back to center and we'll start taking it across your body. So placing the opposite hand on, extending the same side arm, and inhale as you bring the knee across and exhale as you rock back and repeat. Sorry, I do have a cough drop in, so you might hear that. Through the speaker there. The next time you bring it across, if you want to keep it there, go for it. And take a few breaths, noticing how it feels, noticing how deep you want to go. You can always back off or go deeper. And noticing where you want your neck to be. Now on your next exhale, let's slowly come back to the center. And then bend the other leg so that the foot is on the floor. Now we'll extend the leg up toward the ceiling. Seeing if you can get it all the way straight. You can bend and straighten it as many times as you'd like, or you can leave it up there. So if you can't reach behind the leg, if it feels too far, like you're straining through your neck or shoulders, you can take a strap behind the thigh, or you can just use no hands if you want to. Once you get it up there and leave it up there, press the leg forward into your hands. It's like you're trying to break through your hands, so there's some pressure there. If you're not using hands, that won't work, of course. You could always put it against a chair or something, but this can really help. Okay, so you're pressing it into your hands, but you're not letting it go through. And now try to draw it in a little bit closer while keeping it straight. Good, and now let's release. You can straighten out both legs on the floor if you'd like, and notice the difference in the two sides. Following your breath in and out. And then let's inhale, take arms overhead, and exhale, bring the other knee in. And make some circles with the knee and hip a couple times in one direction. and then reverse. And coming back to center, switching hands, you can now come in and out of a twist. And holding the twist whenever you'd like to, deciding how deep you want to go. Big wide inhales, long exhales, relaxing your jaw, noticing where it feels best on your neck for your head to be. And then slowly coming back to the center, we'll bend the opposite knee and place the foot on the floor, taking your hands behind your thigh and begin straightening the leg up toward the ceiling. You can move it first. And then whenever you're ready to, you could keep that leg up there and then press the leg forward like you're trying to break through your hands. So you're really engaging the muscles of the leg, not trying to draw it in close, but instead just trying to get it really straight and to push it forward. And then the hands are holding it in place. A couple more breaths like that. And then draw the leg in closer if you can. So no more pushing forward with the leg. Instead, you're pulling toward you with your hands. Nice. And then releasing, straightening out both legs on the floor, noticing how the two sides feel now. And now let's bend both knees and take your feet as wide as your mat. Spreading out the arms, let's windshield wiper the knees side to side. Notice as you roll over your feet. Feel how the contact changes there. Notice as your knees go side to side. Notice how the knees feel. And then the thighs. Go slower and notice how your hips feel. Good. Now, when your knees come down to your left, you're going to bring the right arm across and push your right hand down to press up onto your left hip so you're upright. Okay. And then once you can see me, just watch for a moment. Now I'm going to come back down. So I'm putting my right hand down, my left arm down. I'm coming down, and you can watch me come up on the other side before you try it yourself. Okay, so the knees go over to the right. I bring my left arm across, and then I push down with my left hand and then my right. So I'm upright. Okay, and then I come back down, trying to lower with control, come back out, laying that right arm down, rolling over onto my back, and then knees to the left. Right arm comes across, pressing up. Let's try it a couple more times, side to side. Just noticing if you can make this movement as easy as possible. So really trying to figure it out in your own body and what feels right, what helps you to make it easier. And maybe there's a side that's easier to do than the other side. So noticing that as well. So the more that you have your knees bent, the easier it's going to be to come up. right? So I see that some of you have your knees bent pretty far down like this. The closer they are, the more that your hips are flexed. And that might not be possible too. Just depends on how your body's feeling. The next time you come up, let's come all the way up. I'm going to come onto hands and knees. You can pad your knees if you'd like. And we're just going to be rolling one of your wrists around on the floor. So what I'm doing here, and if I'll try to show you, I'm letting all parts of my wrist come down to the floor. So I'm taking the back of my wrist around, I'm letting my elbow bend. I'm just coming around, and then I come onto the front of my wrist, right? So I'm going all around. It's not a movement that we normally do in here or that we've done lately. You're really mapping it. Look at it as you do it. So your brain sees what's happening, or your eyes see what's happening, and it goes to your brain. Okay, now let's just put both hands down and notice the two sides, like the sensations in both sides, how they feel different. The wrist you did and the wrist you haven't done yet. Take a breath in and a breath out. And then let's do the second side. So you can take your weight back. You don't have to have weight on it, right? My weight is back towards my hips. It's not on my wrists. I'm just rolling it all around. I'm looking at it, noticing how it moves, going both directions. Okay, and then both hands down again. And just notice again. Okay, now we're going to take a leg back and do the same thing with rolling the ankle around. You can't really look at it. I mean, you could look through your legs actually if you want to, and then roll the opposite way. Good, and then let's bring that knee in and notice how both legs feel, both ankles. They feel quite different for me, and then take the other leg back and do the same thing. Just noticing, how things change in your sensations as you move part of your body. And your awareness of that area changes. Okay, good. Now let's come back again. Okay. We're going to do some cats and cows. At first, just do them however you want. Okay, now we're going to add in a little bit of an isometric contraction. So as you come into your cow, which is the tail up one like this, I'm going to feel like I'm sliding my hands back toward my knees and my knees toward my hands. So I'm squeezing the two together, but nothing's moving. And then as I go into my cat, the one arched up toward the ceiling, I'm going to slide my knees back toward my feet and my hands forward toward the front of my mat, though nothing's moving. Okay, it's just isometric, meaning that there's some contraction going on, but there's no actual movement. Keep going with that through some cats and cows, just getting curious about how that feels as you do it. Good, now let's just come back to the center, and we're going to come down onto our forearms and into, all the way onto our bellies too. So into Sphinx pose. And spreading across your collarbone. Notice how your neck feels. Take a breath in and out. And then let's take the chin down towards your chest. You can always have the elbows wider or more forward. Just don't take the elbows further back, like close to the body. They're right below the shoulders. And now let's take the chin forward. The chin might go up a little bit, just depends on your neck. Okay, so you're going to just go up and down like you're nodding your head and notice how it feels on your neck without pushing into any pain or pinching. Okay, now let's come to the center, what you think is neutral for your neck. And now let's turn your head like you're looking to the left. So your nose toward your left shoulder and then your nose towards your right shoulder. Good. And now let's just come down onto our belly. And I'm going to just pad your head any way you want to with your arms. So your head could turn to one side or you could be face down. Okay. You may need to look at me for this. It's not complicated, but sometimes it's just hard to understand when you're not seeing it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have my forehead on the floor. And you've got to be able to tuck your chin enough so that you don't smash your nose, so that you're comfortable there, okay? And I'm going to put my hands wide with my elbows up. And all I'm going to do is I'm not going to use my neck muscles. I'm just alternating. I push into one hand and my head turns one way slightly. Then I push into my other hand and my head turns the other way. So I'm trying to train myself to relax my neck muscles. And if you have a chronically tight neck, it might be hard to do. You're just trying to let this movement be easy. Okay, now let's come and let's place your right ear on the floor, as long as that feels okay on your neck, of course. And so I'm looking to the left. My right ear's on the floor, and my arms are in a cactus. And if you're not sure what I mean, you can just check me out. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to engage I'm going to engage the muscles by my left shoulder blade to move my shoulder blade toward the midline and then back down. And you can always look if you're not sure. And then toward my midline and then back down. Midline. So what, if I could see you guys, which I can't, I might be able to see that some of you might be squeezing your shoulder blades up by your ears. So I'm not trying to do that. So I'm not going up like this, right? Instead, I'm going just toward the midline, like a retraction of that shoulder blade. And then I'm melting it down. Again, retraction, melt down. See if you can find those muscles without getting into that upper trapezius that might be bringing it up towards your ears. Okay, now let's do the other side. So same thing, left ear to the floor, look to the right. Now it's the right shoulder moving up and back down. It's not really going up, it's going toward the midline and then releasing it to the floor and repeat it several times. Notice how this side feels. If it's less mobile, you can always do this without looking to the side too. So I'm showing it just with my forehead on the floor now. Okay, now let's pat our forehead with the backs of our hands. And let's have our right hand on top of the left hand, okay? And forehead down. This one I'm going to show this way so you guys might be able to see better. So at first, all I'm going to do is lift just the right elbow up and then put the right elbow down. Right elbow up, right elbow down. That's all I'm doing. See if that's possible. without getting into your neck. Okay, now I'm just gonna switch which hand's on top. So now my left hand's on top. I'm gonna do the same thing, but this time the left elbow. Okay, so left elbow up, left elbow down. Trying to do this without getting into the muscles of your neck. Okay, now let's switch, put the right hand on top again and watch me for a moment. So this time I'm going to lift my head. Sorry, I'm just lifting my head so you can hear me better, but hopefully you can hear me when my head's down anyway. But I'm going to try to lift my head, not like I was just showing, but instead as though my arm were a platter and I was lifting my head without using my neck muscles at all. So I'm going to totally relax my jaw. And I'm coming up just a little bit. I am pressing, I'm going to show it from the side. I am pressing a bit into my left forearm to make this happen. I'm also pressing my pubic bone down and engaging my glutes a bit and my core because I'm using some back muscles too, because I'm lifting my torso. My elbow is not doing that lift up and down thing, right? Now instead, I'm supported with my whole back. Neck is at ease. And then take a break. So hopefully you're able to feel that you're lifting up without using your neck muscles. So your neck can be at ease and it's not having to work at all. Okay, that's kind of the point of this here. Let's try the second side. If you have chronic neck stuff, sometimes it can be hard to relax that neck. Okay, now left hand on top. Your head is on a platter. Okay, press the pubic bone down. You can engage the glutes. And inhale, rise, and exhale, lower. You're bracing a bit with that right forearm. So we're strengthening the muscles of the back and the spine and trying to relax and calm the neck. Good. Then next time you come down, let's come back into Sphinx pose and just notice how you feel. Notice if you were tightening through your neck, just giving you information. And now we're going to come up onto hands and knees. So you can crawl a leg forward, prop up, and we're going to do our retract and protract of the shoulder blades like we did last week. So you can start doing it if you already know it, okay? I'm just going to show it in case you're new to this. So what I'm going to do is you can even come up on your knees and do it if you don't want weight on your hands. But I'm squeezing my shoulder blades together against a wall. It looks like this, squeezing them together, pushing the floor away, squeezing them together, pushing away, instead of getting them up by your ears. Okay, so they're going towards your midline, straight back. The arms stay straight and the spine stays neutral rather than rounded. This is good for neck tension as well. Just let that neck relax if you're in a quadruped, a tabletop position. Okay, a couple more. You can always do this at the wall. Good, you guys. And then keep in that protracted, that's the push the floor away position. And you can try to lift your knees off the floor and then walk your hands back to come up onto your feet and stand all the way up. And once you get there, inhale, rising up with your arms. And exhale, bring them out to the sides and down.